The Vancouver Canucks might be about to bring a local legend back to BC. Brendan Gallagher was incredibly candid yesterday, admitting his time in Montreal is done and naming Vancouver as a top destination. But with a $6.5 million cap hit, can the Canucks actually make it work? We're diving into the details right now. On that note, I want to take a look at a specific quote from Gallagher himself referencing Vancouver and, just the idea of him coming to Vancouver. And this is exactly what Gallagher said. That's an opportunity that's there. I'll sit down with my wife and figure out what's best for our family and you go forward. But certainly Vancouver would be a great place. So that is the exact quote from Gallagher when it comes to, returning home to Vancouver. It seems like he is interested. There's also another quote that I want to go over. Let's see if I can find it. Right here. This is from a different article from the Daily Hive, pretty much saying the same thing, that we just mentioned. He did mention that he hasn't had an opportunity to sit down with his agent and talk about the future. And then he goes into the quote about his wife and figuring out what's best for his family and then going forward. But like we said, certainly Vancouver would be a great place. Now, Gallagher does have a modified trade clause in his contract, so he does have some control over the situation and where he ends up playing. And this is something else that Gallagher said, I can keep playing honestly the way I feel. I just know it's not done. You never know how many years, but I have plenty more to give around here. An opportunity, he's just not going to be there. And he's referring to Montreal. So for me, I just need to find a new home and do what I do as a player, but there's tons more to give. I personally like this idea of bringing in Gallagher. Obviously, Canuck fans are very well aware that he spent a lot of time with the Vancouver Giants. As you can see from this picture here, I was actually a season ticket holder when the Giants were still playing at the Pacific Coliseum, so I got to see him up close and personal, and he was actually one of my favorite Vancouver Giants of all time. So I absolutely loved watching him play, and I've always been a big fan of Gallagher's. So I absolutely love the idea of bringing him home to Vancouver. Yes, that $6.5 million cap hit is a little scary because that's a lot of money. But having looked at the Canucks' cap situation going into next season, it's not going to hurt the Canucks if they take on that $6.5 million. Because as you can see from Puckpedia, Canucks have $21 million in cap space. So they have the space, and they're obviously, I'm not sure if this cap space is going to change with, Evander Kane coming off the books. That's like $5 million coming off the books. And speaking of Evander Kane, this is the guy who I would have much rather had a year ago than Evander Kane. Bringing back, Evander Kane, the Vancouver boy. This is the Vancouver boy who I would have preferred them to bring than Evander Kane. And I know some people might be like, oh, this might be another Kane situation. I don't think that at all. Not one bit. I think Brendan Gallagher has a much better character than Evander Kane, and I bet you anyone would tell you that too. So I wish they had done this a year ago instead of bringing in Evander Kane. But I know what people are probably thinking, like, well, what are the Canucks going to have to give up in order to get Brendan Gallagher? Well, I'm glad that you are wondering that, because I've only heard 2 proposed trades so far, and I don't have any off the top of my head that I can really think of. But here's 2 that I heard, one of them being from my buddy Trevor Beggs. He has suggested trading Höglander to the Montreal Canadiens for Gallagher and also getting a second-round pick in return from Montreal. You're basically doing Montreal a favor by taking on Gallagher's contract. Montreal wants to get off of that $6.5 million. So if you attach Höglander, and Höglander feels like he's the odd man out. He's probably, it's time for a change for him. So perhaps that could persuade Montreal, and maybe they bite on that. Who knows? But that is just one option. Another friend, Quads, mentioned giving up a 5th-round pick for Gallagher. He didn't mention any other players. He just mentioned, giving Montreal a 5th-round pick to just take on Gallagher's contract. But what if you combine these 2 trade proposals together and offer that to Montreal? So to Montreal, it's Niels Höglander and a 5th-round pick. To Vancouver, it's Brendan Gallagher and a 2nd-round pick. So, but I want to know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys think about that proposed trade. And what do you guys think about just the idea of bringing in a guy like Brendan Gallagher to this locker room, to this dressing room? Now that we have Manny Malhotra as our coach, the Sedins and Ryan Johnson are running the show. I think this would be really good for our culture if you brought in a guy like Brendan Gallagher. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a big fan of Gallagher. I do think he could help that locker room, and he does have a lot more to give. But I want to know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. What would you be willing to give up in order to acquire Brendan Gallagher from the Montreal Canadiens? Let me know in the comment section down below. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this. If you enjoyed this video, on your way out, you can like the video and subscribe to The Line Change for more Canucks and draft-related content. As well, you can become a member of The Line Change as well, get exclusive perks, members-only videos, also early access to videos such as like this one. Once again, all you got to do is hit that join button. And before I sign off, I'd like to shout out and thank the sponsor of this video, of course, our friends over at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. The Stanley Cup playoffs are here, and DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL, has a new customer offer. When the ice gets coldest, the best players in the world show you exactly who they are. Playoff warriors turn it up round by round, and DraftKings turns it up with them from the first round all the way to the Stanley Cup final. Bet player props, bet live from the opening faceoff to the final horn. Every moment matters. New DraftKings customers bet just $5 and you'll get $100 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN so you're ready for the moment. That's code THPN. Turn $5 into $100 in bonus bets instantly in partnership with DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or 1-800-MY-RESET. New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. Connecticut, call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino in Kansas, wager tax pass-through may apply in Illinois. 21 and over in most states, void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos. Limited time offer.
Once again, thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next